On this week's episode of The Fizz, we have an awesome show for you guys. We go a little bit over our 30-minute mark because there is just so much to talk about. The Tigers opening day today in LA. We have the Red Wings fighting for their playoff lives, the Pistons climbing the charts every single day, and then, of course, March Madness. And then we even talk a little bowling. But before we get into our very exciting action-packed show, I want to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor, Antonio's. Antonio's is my favorite restaurant that there is. It is an Italian restaurant, and they got locations in Dearborn Heights, Farmington Hills, Canton, Livonia, and then, of course, their Roman Village location in Dearborn. This is a family-run restaurant every day for over 60 years. The Ruggiero family has worked hard preparing fresh, authentic Italian dishes. These include delicious sauces, soups, stuffed pastas. The hard work has paid off with award-winning pizzas, calzone, and of course, their fresh baked bread. I'm telling you, if you haven't had Antonio's, you're going to want to visit one of their many locations and try their food. The gnocchi is my favorite pasta dish there. It's what I get every time. So if you're thinking Italian, you want to take the family somewhere, go check out Antonio's. It's awesome. It's affordable. It's great. It's delicious. And it's made with love and from scratch every single time. One of my favorite restaurants I've been going to since a kid. Go check out Antonio's next time you guys are going out to eat. But now, let's get into the Fizz. Hello and welcome to episode 182 of The Fizz. Thank you all for joining us. It is Thursday, March 27th. I am with the main man, Channy Football, Ice Cold Brew Lou. How are we doing, team?
We are doing great. Happy opening day, boys. I know it's not opening day here in Detroit, and we'll get to it later, but happy MLB opening day here in the States. We got a full slate of MLB games to kick us off here in the MLB season.
MLB, schmemlb. We're all excited for the games, baby. The boys are back in town. Little feather in the hat, too. Your boy became an uncle yesterday, so pretty cool there. Yeah, welcome baby Haley to the world. Congrats to Nick and Amanda. Going to be great parents, but Uncle Lou now. So Chandler, I know you've been calling me that for a long time, but continue to call me Uncle Lou. So good.
Yeah, you call me daddy, bitch, and I didn't get the MLB schmemlb reference, but we'll save that for later. It's a half-hour episode.
Yeah, no one got that. I thought he was poo-pooing it. Sounds like he was cheering for it. I don't think he knew where he was going when that sentence started, which is nothing new. But congrats to Uncle Lou. I don't call either of you anything except what I called you at the top of the show.
Great granddad.
A lot going on here at the end of March. Wings fighting for playoff spots, Pistons shooting up the standings, Michigan State still alive in March Madness. Like we said, Tigers starting today. Let's start quickly here with the Detroit Red Wings. I'm decked out in the gear today because I am going to the game. Chandler, not decked out in gear, also going to the game. We're bringing
Business event.
We're bringing in Channy Football from the bullpen to try and kickstart the season. Ottawa Senators tonight at 7 p.m. The Detroit Red Wings have a 6.6% chance to make the playoffs, according to MoneyPuck.com. They currently sit at 72 points. They are pacing about 83, 84 points. Like we have said before, the number to get in the playoffs is a few over 90. I think they need 94, which pretty much would mean that they have to win every single game to close the year.
Yeah, some people call me Channy Football. Lou calls me Daddy. Tonight I'm Channy Mo Cheese coming in the building. I'm going to bring some positivity. I did see, even though we have a tough schedule, I'm looking around the teams just above us between the 8th seed and we're the 11th or 12th. They've all been shitting their pants too. So somehow we're still in this thing. We're still only 3 points back, and we have a couple winnable games between Ottawa today, Boston this weekend. I believe we have the Canadians next week coming up here soon. So let's just prolong it, right? Let's just stay on life support. Let's stay on death row, and it starts tonight with me and Frankie Fast Hands in the building. Let's just get by Ottawa, get the W, and worry about tomorrow.
I appreciate the positivity, Chandler.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised. I thought 6% was kind of high for their playoff odds. Just doing the the math, which you guys know I'm not good at. I got the black hoodie on and the black pants. I'm dressed in black just in case it turns into a funeral. Ottawa loves putting the nail in the coffin on us. I hope it's wrong. I'm always cheering for the team, but this season's been pretty heartbreaking, and we might see kind of the final nail tonight. I think if they lose tonight, like I don't really see a path. I mean, even right now, the path is very dark and bleak.
I know
Frank,
you guys are. Go ahead.
I'd love to see, Frank, if you posted the 6% chance, how many people would comment, well, the Tigers had a 0.2% chance last year, like it happens every year.
Yeah, I know. I mean, miracles happen. This is sports, hey, Don't Stop Believing's our song. Pizzo, back up from the mic. You're breathing into it like a Neanderthal. Like you're absolutely I'm hearing every breath you have right now.
That's how locked in I am.
I appreciate it. I love you getting close to it and just being dialed. So yeah, the Tigers had a 0.2% chance. Hey, Don't Stop Believing's our song. Anything's possible. This is sports. You got to keep the faith until there's absolutely mathematically no faith left. I just feel like that literally the math could close the window completely tonight. But hey, we're going to go in. We're going to drink beers like champions. We're going to watch the Wings. We'll be checking the scores on the Tigers in March Madness. It's a good day. It's a good day in late March for sports.
Yeah, for sure. I know you guys are all juiced up, going to the game, slapping each other's ass, having fun, but I got some sad news, boys. The season's fucking over, okay? I'm going to be the realist here out of the three of us. This season is over. This team is dead, and Steve Yzerman has one more year next year to make the playoffs, or it's time to figure something else out.
I agree, Lou.
Get the Last Supper lined up, steak, lobster, because we are going to the chair in the next couple days here for this Red Wings season. Good night, good day, good evening.
Would we stay at the start of the year? I always ask about the hot seat. Frank, I poke fun at you, and I said, this year there's no hot seat. We don't make the playoffs this year. It's officially hot seat season going into next year. It's playoffs or bust next year for the Yzer plan going into his 7th year, in my opinion.
And that's fine. That's fine. You guys can talk about your hot seat. You guys can cook it up, keep it real warm. Tell me, fucking razz me about it. In the real world where I live, Lou says he lives, I actually live there. There is no chance in the world right now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, that little fucking Chris Illich is going to march into Steve Yzerman's office and serve him fucking a pink slip and fire him. It's just not happening. That seat is ice cold. Yzerman, I bet you put in his contract, 1, you don't speak to me ever. 2, you do not ever fire me. I bet you there is no chance in the world the seat's actually hot. So fans can scream and cry and bitch and moan, and those same fucking fans will be celebrating, fucking cheering, coming, whatever you want when the Wings are fucking an absolute powerhouse from head to toe with the team that he drafted. Because I tell you right now, we fire Yzerman at the end of this year. We fire Yzerman at the end of next year, which isn't going to happen because it's in his contract. It will be the same fucking scenario we're in with the 2 other teams we're watching right now that we're all fucking hot and horny about. Avila's team and Troy Weaver's team. Troy Weaver drafted pretty much the entire fucking starting lineup that the Pistons have right now, and we are fucking losing our mind over it. Same thing with Avila. Chandler would actually know better about both of those than me, but what would you say the draft picks are? 80, 90% picked by
Correct.
the last GM? Now, those people didn't have the last name Yzerman, so they got fucking canned and they got sliced, and I was screaming for them to be gone too. But this is Steve Yzerman, and I said I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to go down with the ship. And I guarantee you fire him this year, you fire him next year. Whoever takes this job is going to be fucking licking their chops, salivating at all these fucking draft picks that Yzerman had, and he's going to walk into the best situation in hockey.
I agree with your point, Frank, and I wholeheartedly agree that, hey, someone's going to have it lined up. But that's part of your duties as a GM is to make sure that you draft the right players, you sign the right players, and most importantly, what these new GMs with the Tigers and with the Pistons did is hired the right head coach to coach and develop these systems and players. So we had Blashill for a little too long, in my opinion, at the start. But, hey, it was a dead man walking at that point. He held on to Lalone a little too long, in my opinion. And now we got McClellan. Look at what Trajan Langdon for the Pistons did 1 year removed from the absolute house fire with Monty Williams that happened. He brings in JB Bickerstaff, and it changes everything. Look at what happens when they bring in AJ Hinch, the wizard behind the Tigers revival last year, and how he used that chaos. That was because of AJ Hinch. That necessarily wasn't because of the roster. And again, I think JB Bickerstaff developing the players is the reason why the Pistons are at where they're at, along with his defensive game planning. So, yes, you're correct with the talent and the drafting. Where I believe we differ is Steve Yzerman has not hired the right guy to lead the Red Wings yet, although that could be Todd McClellan in due time.
And I'm not sitting here saying Stevie Y is infallible. I am saying
you kind of are.
No, I'm not saying he's I'm a rider. I said I'm a ride or die for him. I'm not saying he's infallible. I'm not defending the Lalone hire. I'm not defending the Hall signing. I'm not defending fucking Kopp and Comfer and every other fucking Tarasenko dog shit guy that's come through here. The pro scouting and pro signings outside of Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat and maybe Cam Talbot, but not really anymore, have been pretty bad, pretty goddamn bad. The one thing I will say is what a lot of people like to fucking say to me in comments and DMs and fucking even in social circles is like, if it wasn't Steve Yzerman, you would be screaming for this guy to go. And you know what? You're probably fucking right. But guess what? He is Steve Yzerman, so he's bought that extra fucking runway with me. If Steve Yzerman can't buy extra runway with everyone in this city, like who the fuck can? Like Dumars probably should have gone years before he was gone. But guess what? He's Joe fucking Dumars, so he got a little bit of an extra runway. Also, the championship kind of fucking helped as well. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think the seat is actually hot. I think fans can kick and scream and get mad. Number one, I think these draft picks is how he's going to build the team. He needs to improve the pro scouting. And I believe because his name is Steve Yzerman, he does deserve an extra fucking runway because he's the reason we call this place Hockey Town.
And to cap it off, Frank, I mean, I was notorious the last 3 years. If you were a Fizz listener, I called Tom Gores a scumbag 150 times. And it took one good ballsy move to buy out Monty Williams and to eat $60 million to turn the franchise around. So I do believe 1 to 2 big moves made from the top down can totally shift a franchise when you have the right talent in place. And I think the Wings have the right talent or will have the right talent in the next year or two.
I also don't think, like, from the fans' perspective, we're not asking for a lot. We're asking to make the playoffs in the last 8 years. And mind you, he took over an absolute dumpster fire, Frank, for sure. But we're asking to make the playoffs here. We don't need to win a Stanley Cup. It's not 8 years. Like, you got to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that he's definitely not getting fired this year. That would make no sense to fire him this year. After next year, if he doesn't make the playoffs again, then, like, is he on the hot seat in your opinion?
I think, okay, he is on the hot seat from a fan perspective. I truly believe in my heart of hearts in that building, he's not even close to a hot seat. This is an Ilitch and an Yzerman. Like for Chris Ilitch to make the move to fire Yzerman, when I'm sure Yzerman has told him, like, this is the plan all along, like, not to not make the playoffs and stuff, but like, I'm going to build through the draft. Like, I don't think I truly believe Chris Ilitch and the ownership of the Red Wings has not even considered firing Steve Yzerman. I mean, unless a disaster were to happen next year, I don't see him being gone next year. I think maybe they start thinking about it next year if they don't make the playoffs. But if they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to probably fire myself into the fucking Detroit River and let it take me away downriver and to my demise.
All right, last question, and I'm not being a smartass. Can we all agree with this? This is not the hot seat question. We'll save it for next week when we're out of the playoffs.
You already asked me that. How could you ask me it again? I've been the whole convo's been the hot seat.
Okay, can we find a middle ground? If you're saying Yzerman, this is part of the plan. Is Chris Ilitch a shitty owner then for waiting this long?
Waiting this long for what?
Is he just a shitty sports owner between the Tigers and Red Wings? Does he run good franchises?
I don't think so. No, not at all.
Okay,
I think his dad was a legend of an owner, and it was tough shoes to fill, but he just seems to push every single wrong button that there is, and his best thing he did was to hire Yzerman, and it's not shaken out like how we wanted. And I just feel like with the Tigers, like, yes, they're winning. Yes, they're good. But I feel like you said, it's a big Hinch Harris thing, which I guess he hired, but I feel like he's just been like, oh shit. Like he's like stumbled into gold.
Yeah.
Kind of did.
Yeah.
Kind of did.
Good segue here. Good segue. We just did wings. Let's talk a little bit of Tigers here. So yesterday, you guys, I went to the What's New event at Comerica. Thank you, Detroit Tigers. After I just, made fun of the owner. Thank you for having me at the event. I really appreciate it. It was cool. So two things. Well, here's the segue part I wanted to talk about. So I get there and they have like traditional media with their cameras and reporters and all this stuff, like all the news channels we see. And then they have like a bunch of, degenerate influencers like me and a few other people there. No, they're not degenerates. Maybe I'm just the degenerate. All you other people are great people. So I meet this girl and she's like, yeah, I'm an influencer. I'm on TikTok, whatever. I mostly cover the Lions, but I'm trying to get into other sports. I'm like, oh, that's great. Like there's a lot of good things happening. We love the sports here. And I'm just like, yeah, I kind of, I cover them all. She doesn't follow. She doesn't like know who I am. She doesn't do anything. And she said she's most focused on the Lions, and we're at a Tigers event. And no joke, she's just like, yeah, I'm trying to get into other sports, but I have one question for you. If you follow all the teams, I'm like, yeah, what is it? She's like, do you think like it's time to like put Yzerman on the hot seat? Dude, I'm not kidding. Like we're 5 minutes into this event. And she asked me in a Tigers event as a Lions girl, is Yzerman on the hot seat? And I just was like, is this a fucking plant? Like, did Chandler send this chick in here to like fucking grill me in public about Yzerman? And she's just like, I just feel like, even though it's been 8 years, we haven't made the playoffs. And I just feel like even though he's Yzerman, like he needs to be held accountable. And I'm just like, I'm just going to go eat a fucking burger if you don't mind, ma'am.
Did you hire her as your newest blogger?
Dude, I almost fainted right in the middle of the fucking thing. I was just like, I can't run from this question.
I know you did a good job at covering it, Frank. I actually talked to a guy who worked for Fairway Meat Company today, and he mentioned how they have some new things yesterday. So I know you highlighted in some of your tweets some of the new things to the stadium between the sign, the field, or whatnot. What were some cool things that maybe as a fan to experience going into this year outside of the giveaway days, National Coney Island Bucket Hat Day? What were some things you were looking forward to at the stadium this year?
Yeah, so I will definitely answer that. I want to tell you about like kind of how it went. So like we show up, all the media is there. Gustafson comes out, head of Illich Entertainment, president, CEO, and they're like, okay, here's Ryan Gustafson. He's going to answer a couple questions, dude. Right off the rip. Like first question is just like, what happened to the keyhole from home plate to the mound? Like first question right off the rip. And he's just like, it was a player's request. We try to accommodate to the players. The players asked, we accommodated. Like very like straightforward, put it all on the players. That was it. And then it was just like elephant in the room. Like, all right, we'll take one more question. I'm just sitting back like, here comes a scoreboard question. Here comes a fucking scoreboard question. Bang. Hey, and like whoever asked it, like just totally like danced around the whole thing. Like, oh, it used to, the Tigers logo was up there. People thought it was iconic. And now it seems to have been replaced with like a big advertisement of Comerica Park. And, the whole answer was like, it started off as like, it's Comerica's 25th anniversary, so we wanted to bring the sign back to its original form, which had Comerica Park on the scoreboard. But I mean, if you remember in 2000, I mean, everyone's pulling up the pictures now. That was when they had Comerica with the analog clock right in the middle, and then they had the word Tigers like in like Times New Roman, like arched across the top of it.
Yeah.
So like it had both. It wasn't, so it was like whatever. And then he kind of like fades into like, he goes, and it was time, the Tiger sign's time was done. It had to be decommissioned. So that's why you see the change. And I didn't get what that meant at all. Like, do signs have do you have to sign permits on these signs? And then it's time to, I don't know. I don't get how any of that works, and then it was like, okay, any more questions? No one had a single question. That was like all anyone cared about were those two things. But besides that, get into the event. Great event. You mentioned the Fairway guy. So they got a Fairway smash burger. That was by far my favorite food item that I ate. I had two of those. I had like one of everything else. They're working with Green Dot Stables again. We love Green Dot Stables. They rock. They had Breadless there, which is a place guys here get lunch all the time at. So that was pretty cool to see. Then they had some like absolute like Midwestern baseball slop items that were just out of control. They had like the mozzarella sticks covered in pizza sauce with provolone cheese melted over them, and then it was a sandwich in between two pieces of garlic bread.
Come on,
dude! I swear to God, it was just
chestnut.
like, dude, it was bread, meat, cheese, like on top of bread, meat, cheese, like deep fried. They had them like cut up small too, and I ate one of those, and I was like, what a gut bomb! I can't imagine ordering like the full mozzarella stick provolone sandwich.
Could you imagine slamming one of those on a 90-degree day in the middle of the summer? I mean,
Dude,
come on.
Chasing it with a warm beer.
No, yeah, dude, chasing it with a tall fucking two-hearted, just you're fucking zonked. Forget the pitch clock, dude. You're still zonked by the third inning. So that was cool. They had all the food there. Delaware North Sports Services, we love them. They helped with Champagne Showcase, and they do all the Tiger stuff. So we love Delaware North. Giveaways, some pretty cool stuff. They had a cool windbreaker, cool flannel that we liked. I think you guys saw the bucket hat. They had a beer cooler. All that stuff is just like really cool stuff. One thing I forgot to post is they're giving away like a mini replica Comerica Park, like a little like porcelain replica Comerica Park. Another thing they were doing is like they didn't have anything for it, but I'm kind of a Stranger Things nerd. I like love that show. They're doing a Stranger Things night later in August. So just a cool event. They have a lot of cool giveaways, and then they have the brand new Home Plate Club.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Home Plate Club, we sat in the seats, like not the actual ones. They had one in the inside, so we got to sit in it. I mean, it's like the movie theater seats, but a little more like premium. And then they had the heaters and coolers in them. They're pretty sweet. But I heard, they didn't have any pricing information or anything, but I read a report that for a full season package for 2 seats, which includes the game, all the games, all food, all beverage, all parking, it's $100,000.
I heard that too, and I also saw your cheapest package is a quarter season, so no single game tickets that you can buy in the Home Plate Club. You got to have quarter, half, or full season package to get in there. The cheapest one is about $200 per ticket, or $16,000 for 2 seats. So, I don't think Champagne's getting a 2-pack, are they?
Not yet, especially not after, kind of my up and down. Thank you for having me, but the owner's, a nightmare. I don't know. So, no, probably not anytime soon. Heard they're not sold out yet. And I don't know. I think the club is not going to be ready for the start of the season. So.
Midsummer. Yep.
Yeah. So
Midsummer. Back to the
updates.
ballpark, Franks. Why don't we get on the field though? Start tonight in LA. Former Cy Young Tarek Skubal takes them out against former NL Cy Young Blake Snell. It's actually the Dodgers' 3rd game this year. They started off in Tokyo. We start 6 games on the West Coast. There's been a lot going on this last week or two, roster moves, injuries, et cetera, But I think overall, the feel of the town right now is excitement and nervousness at the same time. So interested to see what you guys are feeling as we go into day 1, game 1 of 162 on this 2025 season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to opening day just being back as a whole. Like, the number 1 draft pick in spring activities. It looks like it's going to be a decent day. We're still a little ways out from the weather standpoint, but always love getting down there. Tin Roof is always a must stop that day. They always have the band outside. All 3 floors are jammed. The atmosphere is always good right there in not Campus Martius, but Grand Circus Park. Yep, where they have all the food trucks. So I'm looking forward to getting the boys back down there, doing a little tailgate video. Miss our Lions. We do miss our Lions, so this is a nice substitute. But overall, the team-wise, we're looking for a big year out of Casey Mize, boys. I'm talking probably
Mount Rushmore.
Lead the AL in strikeouts type season. But realistically, I'm looking for guys like Kerry Carpenter to take a big step up this year for us. Riley Green's been one of our cornerstones, so he's got to continue to lead this team. And let's just Torque. What's Torque's deal again? Is he going to be cold for half the season and then hit a couple big shots down the end of the year? Like, that's not what we drafted you for at that spot. We do need more out of Torque, but I'm excited for this year. I saw the Tigers were even money to make the playoffs. So I do like that. And I think they were just underneath the Twins as far as winning the AL Central. So 260 or 220 it was. So I think I'm going to pop that in. But that's where I'm at.
And if you look at the AL Central, actually the top 4 teams, I believe, are all under 3-1 to win it. Very even division. Everyone's between plus 150 and plus 300 outside of the White Sox, who couldn't win at Liberty Park this summer.
Yeah, that'll be a nice opening day for us. The White Sox, a little 10-0 home run smash, 20 Ks.
Yeah, real quick though, R.I.P. Liberty Park.
Yeah,
RIP.
Yeah.
Damn, R.I.P. Heavy heart. Chandler, you're talking about what we're excited about on the field. This has got to be the most excited the Tigers fan base has been in over a decade for the season to start. The way we finished last year, the players we got, the energy in the locker room, like this is definitely the most heat we've had going into opening day in a very long time. People are excited this year. It's double that this year. On top of all of it, you got the best pitcher in the world who seems to absolutely love being here. Last night, Tiger social media, along with him, releases like a 5-paragraph thing talking about how fired up he is to be a Detroiter, how fired he up, how much of an underdog he was, how much of an underdog this city is. Just the most like Detroit branded gritty Tigers thing you could ever see. Tarek Skubal is an awesome face for this era of Detroit Tigers baseball. I think part of it was also kind of him being like, all right, sign me, extend me, give me this fucking thing. Do you see how much I love this city? You see how much I'm giving into this? Love his emotion, love his passion. He is definitely going to be top ticket watch this year. That's what we're most excited about. But other things I'm excited about, all jokes aside, Casey Mize. Fucking incredible spring training, whether you're putting him on Mount Rushmore or not. If he can come to fruition, look out. We're going to have one of the most dangerous rotations in baseball. But the number one guy I am most excited to see, Jackson Jobe. That guy is absolutely electric. I couldn't be more excited that he made the starting rotation. He seems to be very cocky, very confident in himself, and just an absolute gas guy. And with a guy like Tarek Skubal leading the way with these young guys, it's going to be a really exciting pitching staff. So sign me up as a Jobe guy early to start the year. Obviously, we hope Torque finds his torque bomb early throughout the year. Biggest disappointment, got to be Parker Meadows. Really shitty news. We lost our gazelle in center field, for a while now, and it seems like one of those injuries where it's like, is it better? Is it worse? There's no timeable return. Just seems like kind of those awkward ones. That was kind of a bummer. Henry Malloy being sent down was a little bit of a bummer, and we got some injuries to work through, but 162 game season. And as we know, especially as Tigers fans, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I'm fired up for Tigers baseball more than I have been in a long time.
I agree. I agree with a lot of your guys' sentiments. And I think there's been a lot of negativity these last 2 weeks between injuries and holes that we didn't fill in the offseason. And at the same time, we got to remember we've got the best manager in baseball. That's not a homer statement. That is just a fact. He works magic. He's already been a World Series champion. Even if he did use trash cans, he just manages the game and he puts pressure on other managers and other teams. And AJ Hinch, the best coach in the city of very good coaches, in my opinion, AJ Hinch. You got guys out like Vierling, Parker Meadows, Wenceel Perez, who was fighting to be our starting center fielder, not starting on opening day. I'm still pumped. That Tarek Skubal video on top of the paragraphs that he wrote was unbelievable. Scott Boras is probably salivating right now at looking to get him 40 to 45 mil a year when Tarek's up. But re-sign him. Do what you got to do. When people want to be here in Detroit, much like a Cade Cunningham, Steve Yzerman back in the day, Barry saying, hey, you re-sign them. You back up the Brinks truck, like Ice Cold Brew Lou would say, and you pay those guys to stay in Detroit. So that's got to be priority A over these next 12 months. But for this season, we talked a lot about pitching, and there's a lot of big names or people with expectations. I'm going to talk about probably the least talked about starter, and that's Reese Olson. I think Reese Olson's going to be the best pitcher for this staff this year. That's a bold prediction on my end. We do have the former Cy Young and Tarek Skubal, Jack Flaherty, who was a high-end pitcher last year, number one overall pitching prospect in baseball, Jackson Jobe, and former number one pick Casey Mize on the staff. But if you look at Reese Olson, basically a 3.5 ERA last year, above average strikeout percentage. I can baseball nerd out about this guy all day if you want me to, but I'll save everyone and spare everyone those stats. Long and short, Reese Olson's got good stuff. He's got swing and miss stuff, and he's going to be one of those overlooked starters when you go into a series to say, oh, we dodged, Flaherty and Skubal. We get to see Olson this series. Well, get ready because Reese is going to be a big part of it. And my expectation for the Tigers, you win the AL Central. It's not about making the playoffs this year. Take care of the Central. Own the Central. It's right there for us. We've got Jeff Passan from ESPN taking us. We've got various MLB national writers taking us to win the AL Central. That is the expectation this year. That's not the hope. That's the expectation you build on last year. Fuck the injuries. You've got young guys. You've got experience now. And you've got a top 3 pitching staff in the AL and arguably the best bullpen in the league. I believe the Tigers will win the AL Central, and Reese Olson will be a top 5 AL Cy Young pitcher and pitching candidate this year.
Hey, you're not the only one that believes in him. They got a bobblehead night of Reese Olson this year.
There we go.
And what I thought was funny about it was it's like they have a Skubal one and he's pitching, normal pitching, and then there's Reese Olson's like him screaming, which I thought was kind of funny. I thought Skubal was the screamer, but that's awesome. Do we have a number on what it is to win the AL Central? You said it's even money for playoffs, Lou. Did you happen to check?
Yeah, it's plus 220.
Okay.
And then their win total is at 83.5.
83.5?
Just above 500. I will say this too, guys. You're going to hear me say it all year. I will die on this sword and put my neck out. I believe Javi Baez has a good year for Javi Baez and is close to an average MLB player. That's what I believe Javi Baez will do this year. I know that's not blowing the world out, but I expect 15 home runs this year out of Javi Baez, which is a large improvement from his tenure here in Detroit.
I think that technically lands as a hot take.
That's right.
I do. I'm excited for Gleyber Torres, too. Bounce back year. He's got a beard now. He's happy to be here. He's got his beard.
That's right.
Hell yeah, dude. Tigers baseball. Who'd have thought? Sweet. So let's move into the last kind of sports thing here. Probably the most intense of all of them. The one we're probably most invested with the most on the line. March Madness, baby. We are in the Sweet 16. Chandler could probably tell you how many Izzo's been to. Don't have it off the top of my head. What do you got, Channy? How many?
Izzo, I think this is his 9th Sweet 16, I believe.
Okay. We are taking on Ole Miss in the Sweet 16. And, we want to stay focused on our game, but we're looking at the other side of the bracket, and we are seeing the University of Michigan taking on Auburn. The storm is brewing. It's coming down the train tracks. Will it happen? We don't know. Michigan State beats – I am blanking right now.
New Mexico.
Thank you.
Yep.
Michigan State beats New Mexico last week. Kind of a sloppy tug-of-war game. Nothing that we're not used to seeing, boys. I mean, it would be it's few and far between for big games for MSU to just come out and blow the doors off. They love giving up an early lead to these lower seeds. But as I was somewhat nervous throughout the game, it just felt like we were going to fucking do the anaconda squeeze on them and eventually slowly beat them, which is exactly what happened. But was definitely not your typical state game. Jackson Kohler benched early, Tom Izzo style, fucking punished the 5-year-old for misbehaving, sat him down, taught him a life lesson in the round of 32. Jace Richardson, I don't know if you want to call it his worst game, but probably his worst scoring game that ever happened. Didn't score until the final 2 minutes where he put up a big 6 points, but did play good defense and got a lot of minutes. Frankie Fiddler tried one too many fadeaways, but he had a pretty good game. So good to grind it out. It was one of those to me where it was not a great one to watch, but happy we won. Who cares? Let's get ready for Ole Miss.
And let me interject real quick. I was thinking Final Fours would be 9th. It's his 16th.
I thought
Sweet
that was low.
16. I totally got that wrong, but
it's okay. I forgot who we played. So,
but you know what? I like where we're at. I will say this: don't take Ole Miss lightly. Ole Miss has shot 50% from three through their first two games of the tournament. Chris Beard is an elite coach. He took Texas Tech to the title game in 2019 when they beat Izzo and the Spartans in the Final Four. He was at Texas, and before he had domestic abuse charges levied against him, he was a great coach in turning that program around into a top contender. He also is a traditional college coach scumbag, much to the likes of Urban Meyer, Will Wade, Hugh Freeze, giving people the bag, paper or cash in a paper bag type of coach. But you know what? Those guys thrive in this new NIL era. And guess what? We're not in the Cinderella era. We're in the Cinder NIL era with all 16 Sweet 16 teams being from the Power 4 conferences. That's right. And for anyone who wants to complain about it, I understand we like the stories and whatnot with the Cinderellas. At the end of the day, though, how can you be mad when these are the coaches in your Sweet 16? Coach Cal, Tom Izzo, Calvin Sampson, Bruce Pearl, Rick Barnes, Chris Beard, and then you have up-and-comers like Todd Golden in Florida, Mark Pope at Kentucky, Tommy Lloyd from Arizona, and Dusty May from Michigan. There are a ton of good coaches. There's no more Boeheims, Jay Wrights, Coach K's. That era has passed us. We have the top-tier coaches from college basketball still left in this tournament. Embrace it. Don't be mad because Cinderellas or there wasn't a story. Embrace how many good programs, good coaches, and good teams are still left. And guess what? You're really going to earn it. There's no easy path for a 1, 2, 4, 10 seed left here. You're going to have to earn it against a Power 4 team and a good program as a whole.
No doubt. And I will say, as you know, March Madness as a whole, one of the best events of the year. For me, this year has been a little bit down. I felt like the first two rounds, there was a ton of blowouts. There was maybe 2 or 3 close games. The scheduling has been very odd as well. Only the NCAA can figure out a way to fuck up the easiest thing to run. Like Sunday night, they got 4 games going off at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. The 4 best games, it's like Michigan State, Oregon, Ole Miss, and Maryland were all playing at the same time. You got the whole middle of the day on a Sunday. And this is a money thing too. You would think that all these people are traveling to go to these games. Like you're packing up and going home on Sunday. Most of these people have jobs and have shit to do on Monday. Why would you not have these games in the middle of the day where bars, restaurants, stores, all these places could be making money, where all these fans are traveling to the game and you can actually enjoy like getting drunk and getting a little fucked up at the game. Like you're going to Michigan State at Sunday at fucking 10 o'clock and then you got to be back in Detroit on Monday. Like you're going to tamper it down a little bit, unfortunately. So that's been my biggest thing with the NCAA as a whole. The worst fucking ran organization ever. They continue to fuck shit up and they just can't figure it out when it's laying right in front of them. The other thing too is the portal opening up now in like the middle of the tournament. You got 1,400 guys entering the transfer portal in the middle of the fucking tournament. And shout out to Tom Izzo, our boy, for absolutely going in on his speech the other day. I think it was yesterday, actually, where he basically said he's going to stand by his team. He doesn't even know what he has at this point. So how can he go into the portal and start offering all this shit for these guys? These 5-stars who are transferring, they want 5 schools to come and have a bidding war in the middle of March Madness for who sucks his dick the best. We're not doing that. We're like that. This is why we love Tom Izzo. And I love the Michigan people saying he's soft. He doesn't know how to coach. Like the dumbest shit that you can ever. Go to Champagne's page and read some of the Michigan comments on there if you don't know what I'm talking about. Like this guy stands by his team. He's worried about the next game that he has to play. He's not worried about picking up a 5-star that has 7 bids on him. And he said it best. He's creating memories for these guys for an eternity, for their grandkids and their grandkids. You will never, ever forget playing in a Final Four game if you're on one of those teams. You'll never, ever forget that. Stick by your guys. Run your shit. He's the most solid, well-rounded guy as far as, like, staying clean hands, clean Tom. Let's go MSU, bro. I'm fucking jacked up. I really feel like this is our year. We're back in Cleveland. We got the old Spartan dogs there. Jason Richardson at the games. I think we go to work here. And I also would like to say a little side note, nothing MSU related. BYU, keep an eye on the Cougars. I talked about it a week and a half ago, gave this to the listeners. They're going to beat Duke too. Okay. You heard it here first. BYU's taking down Duke, I think today or tomorrow. But good night, Irene.
All right, boys. I love it, Pizzo. That's fucking great. Tom deserves all of the flowers in the world right now. I mean, yeah, he's like an old grumpy old man, but I mean, he even said like he had to have a look in the mirror, talk with himself. He had to adjust, to NIL, and it is also the name on the back along with the name on the front, but he's not going to sacrifice who he is. And why would his focus be on anything else in the world besides Ole Miss? This is a guy who, after we beat Bryant, had his team go do 20 minutes of film to have the Lobos on their brain going to bed. You know what I mean? So Tom rocks. We're so lucky to have him. The fucking short Italian from the UP, man. Who would have ever thought? But so we're moving against Ole Miss. Like you said, Channy, like it's Chris Beard. That's who beat us with Texas Tech. And guess what? Texas Tech wasn't sexy at all when they beat us. But you know what they did? They mucked it up. And that's kind of hard to do versus a Tom Izzo Michigan State team. And they did it. They held us to 51 points. Ole Miss is a lot like one of their most famous alumni, Eli Manning. There is nothing sexy about Eli Manning. But guess what? That guy's got 2 Super Bowl rings, and he's probably a Hall of Famer, and he won a lot of games. Nothing sexy about Ole Miss, but here they are in the Sweet 16. Do not look past this team. It's a coach who's already beaten a Tom Izzo team before, who was a lot more talented, quite frankly. And, you can always slip in the tourney. So do not look past Ole Miss.
Yep. And as a side note, and as, something to look forward to, as an MSU fan, if you look at Izzo throughout his time in his career, he is so much better in the second game of the weekend than he is in the first. So if you can get past that first game, i.e. he's been to 10 Elite Eights, he's won 8 of them. He is one of the best coaches on adjusting and devising a game plan on a 2-day turnaround in a tournament-like setting. So let's get through this game, and then let's be confident for whoever come next. I pray to God it's Michigan. I hope it's Michigan. I want Michigan so badly. I want to beat them for a third time. But let's just know, get past this game, because in the past, the first game of a weekend in the tournament is a bigger stumbling block for MSU than the second game.
Yep. So are we rooting for Michigan this week?
I'm not rooting for anyone that game. I hope both of them lose, to be honest with you. But I do want them.
So I wanted to run through this with you guys. I saw this graphic posted on the internet. I haven't fact checked it, but I trust the guy who posted it. So in 2000, Michigan State won the national championship. Izzo's only national championship. Obviously, 2025, we're making a run here once again. So this is the similarities between the 2000 team and the 2025 team. So the number of players to average 10 plus minutes a game, 10 guys. 2025. So everything I say, it lines up perfectly. The leading scorer on the 2000 team was left-handed. Same with 2025. Big Ten losses in 2003. Same with this team. Did they win the Big Ten? Yes, they both did. They had a freshman named Jay Richardson. Yes, check, both teams. NCAA tournament bracket quadrant. Bottom left. So round 1 and round 2 sites for the games. Cleveland. Both times. Round 2 opponent conference, the Mountain West. Both teams. Round 2 opponent coach name, Richard. Both teams won the national championship. Yes, and TBD.
That's wild.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is.
Let's keep it rolling.
Let's keep rolling, baby.
Let's keep it rolling.
Well, I know I'm excited. I'm jacked up. I feel like we just should touch on it very briefly here before we sign off. The Michigan-Texas A&M game, I watched the whole thing from start to finish. To me, I felt Texas A&M was going to win that game the entire time. They seemed to be scoring at will. I believe they got up by like 9 or 10 at one point. But it kind of seems like not in the same way Michigan State does, but Michigan slowly starts to grind away, chip away, things start going their way, and shots start to fall. And A&M just, I felt, went ice cold at the end of that one. And Michigan somehow put up, 91 points or something like that in that game. Just kind of an offensive explosion. And then Texas A&M just fell stagnant at the end. And Michigan, as a 3.5 dog, finds their way into the Sweet 16, taking on number 1 Auburn. Don't know if you have any thoughts on Michigan from that game, but that was kind of just my Frankie Hoops high-level analysis.
Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts. I'll switch the subject, but I will say this: no one cares, but I'm going to say it anyway. I hit a square in that game because Texas A&M missed not one but 2 free throws with 5 seconds left. So I hit a March Madness square in doing that. I'm not going to spend any time on Michigan. I couldn't care less about them, but I will plug the USBC's Masters, which is at Thunderbolt Lanes this weekend in Allen Park. So any bowling fans, if you want to go check out the USBC Masters and the defending champ, Deron Booker. I don't know how that slipped me. Big bowling fan here. Then go to Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park, and that just shows as much as I care, or how much I care, about Michigan, the university, the basketball team, the football, the alum, the scumbag fans, and that dumbass Block M.
Okay. All right. Lou, anything?
Michigan, most registered bowlers in the United States. A lot of people miss that. But if you didn't know that, now you do. Get out to Thunderbird Lanes. It's going to be a fantastic time. I don't know if you've ever been to a bowling event, but they have everything you could want there. There's going to be cigarettes. There's going to be booze. There's a bunch of oil. They have balls. It's going to be a great time. Get out there. Get out to Allen Park. Support Freddie the Pizza Man while you're over there. Melvindale. It's going to be awesome. And go Tigers.
Well, you guys know the biggest conspiracy during COVID was not COVID itself. It was how in God's name was bowling allowed as one of the activities you were allowed to do during COVID. Most underrated conspiracy ever during that time. Michigan, you could come bowl, which to me sounds like the most COVID rampant spreading event there could be. But you could do it here because big bowling controlling everything here in Michigan.
That's right.
All right, well, that's how we'll end the show, episode 182. Good luck on all your bets this week. Go Wings, go Pistons, go Tigers, go Sparty, and go bowling. And we will see you guys next week.